Hi Poli413, my name's MJ, and this is my first vlog. First, I would like to discuss the Cut and Jones piece on sexism. What resonated with me most about the piece was the examples given at the beginning. Some include lack of equal pay in society, in the workforce, lack of opportunity to get an education, acts of violence against women. And although these are contemporary examples, which exist in the world today, and even in our societies today, I felt almost alienated from them, and I didn't necessarily understand what sexism was in my particular social location until I gave it great thought this past week. And thinking about the way that sexism's constructed in society, I really started to notice how prominent it is in almost everything.
Cancel my next appointment. This is going to take a while. Dr. Cooper, you said things to your employee that you just cannot say in the workplace.
Like what?
Well, according to Miss Jensen, you said that she was a slave to her biological urges and called her an egg salad sandwich. I don't even know what that means, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you you can't say it.
Oh, I see the confusion here. No, Alex thought I was singling her out. No, I meant that all women are slaves to their biological urges, you know? Even you. You're a slave.
We see in the case of Sheldon Cooper that sexism is ingrained into pop culture, as women are constantly devalued in our society. I found the discourse on othering briefly present in the Simone de Beauvoir piece, Introduction from the Second Sex. Really interesting in kind of understanding the structural uses and unconscious uses of sexism. And I believe it would go on to explain that women are constantly devalued to their bodies. And this concept's from the Enlightenment, and it's also known as a Cartesian mind-body split. And so what that suggests is men who are contained bodies are privileged or view themselves as a positive when in comparison or relation to an other who is devalued to lesser than a brain, because from the Enlightenment, logic is obviously important. And so if you're not valued for your brain, you're devalued and you come to represent by your body or body parts. And we see that clip constant throughout the sexual harassment episode on The Big Bang Theory.
You don't know? Oh, you poor dear. Your ovaries are squirting so much goofy juice into your brains you don't even know which way is up.
Once again, we see in the case of Sheldon Cooper that he devalues women to their bodies and thus delegitimizes their ability to be rational people and human beings. What I also really enjoyed about the piece was the different levels of sexism Cut and Jones identify: institutional, interpersonal, and unconscious sexism. And for myself this past week, I actually examined quite a bit of interpersonal sexism at my swim workouts when I was doing pace distance sets with my teammates, both of whom are identified males. And one of them wasn't making the set or making his time. And the other guy was like, "You're such a pussy." And that really spoke to me quite differently than it would have prior to these readings and prior to this course. And I really, at that moment, kind of understood sexism a little bit better, I would say. And I was just like, that's sexist. You can't say that. Or you shouldn't say that. That's devaluing women. And it really made me think about the way society's constructed and the language we use and how that might be constructed and how that language is used to identify oneself and other people and understand the world around us. And we might not necessarily understand what we are actually saying, because I don't think when he said that he was actually referring to women but it's kind of a phrase that's been ingrained into our society and overused, but it does have this very sexist context to it. But we often overlook it because we don't understand the origins or the context in which it's used and how it is really devaluing to women, because you're comparing female and male genitalia, and you're privileging the male, and you're devaluing the women because you're not doing a good job, you're not doing what you're supposed to, so it's bad. And that, when doing that, when othering, you're also containing and privileging the masculinity involved in the situation. Cudd and Jones suggest two views on sexism. The first, equality feminism, maintains that social institutions are the primary medium of sexism. Men and women do not differ markedly in their potential capacities, interests, and abilities. The second, difference feminists, maintain that unconscious desires are the primary medium of sexism. Accordingly, social institutions are the result, rather than the causes of sexism. And although I don't have a great understanding of either views on sexism, I believe that in our modernist society, which is often based on dichotomies, a difference view greater explains the inequalities between men and women and how they're viewed. I also enjoy how in the difference discourse, social institutions are considered the result rather than the cause. Because I believe by placing blame on institutions themselves, we're forgetting the people involved on the ground level who are also accountable for perpetuating particular norms and values in society, which are often very patriarchal. From a different standpoint, with an othering discourse, I believe if men who view themselves as rational human beings are able to find similarities with women and recognize them as supplements rather than othering them, a more equality-based discourse that understands men and women as equals, as human beings, can be achieved. I believe that until men and women are viewed as equals, as human beings, that no structural change will truly address the problem of sexism within our society. Throughout this vlog, I have identified forms of sexism in different aspects of society and my life. Although present and continuously at play in devaluing women in our society, it will not change until we use our critical thinking skills to question and examine how deep-rooted this patriarchal phenomenon truly is. Thank you for taking time to listen to my vlog. Bye.